Elizabeth Blackwell, a pioneer in medicine and education. In 1847, Elizabeth was finally accepted into Geneva Medical College in New York after being rejected by many schools. The male students had voted to admit her as a joke, not expecting the school to actually accept her. There she faced constant judgment. Some teachers hesitated to teach her, and many saw her presence as improper. Even everyday tasks became difficult. When she tried to buy medical supplies, the shopkeeper refused to serve her. However, she worked hard and became the first woman in the U.S. to earn a medical degree. To continue her training, Elizabeth later studied at a maternity hospital in Paris. Although she had a degree, she was treated like a midwife instead of a doctor. By accident, she lost vision in her left eye while treating a baby with an eye infection. The injury ended her dream of being a surgeon. Yet, it became a turning point. She changed her focus to public health, medical education, and social reform. Then she was determined to make a difference in public health back in New York.
Today's warm-up quiz is, Emma has been hearing a blank knocking sound from the pipes for an hour. A. Confident. B. Original. C. Constant. D. Challenging.
You have 15 seconds to think about it. Time's up.
Hello everyone, welcome back to English for You. I am Mike.
I'm Claire.
And we are reading about a medical pioneer, Elizabeth Blackwell, one of the very first lady doctors, or at least one of the first lady doctors from the 19th century. Yesterday we learned that she was born in England, and she had a very modern family, right? Her father believed that girls and boys should be educated equally, learn the same things, which was quite unusual at that time. But even though her father believed in education, many people didn't, and lady doctors, female doctors, were very, very unusual. In fact, there were probably almost none. But all that changed when Elizabeth moved to America. She saw a friend dying of cancer, and the friend wished that she could have a lady doctor instead of a bunch of men doctors or male doctors treating her. Right. And that inspired Elizabeth Blackwell to go to school.
Yeah, and especially the cancer is 子宫癌. Right?
Yeah, it's a lady problem. Men don't have a uterus, so, you know, this is not something a man has ever experienced, so I think it's understandable that her friend would want a female doctor. But how to become a doctor at a time when there were no other lady doctors? That is where we pick up our story right now. So let's get back to it. It says in 1847, so she was born in 1821, so she's around 26 years old now. In 1847, Elizabeth was finally accepted into Geneva Medical College in New York after being rejected by many schools. Wow, maybe she applied to Harvard and Yale and Princeton, and they're like, you're a lady. You can't study medicine. It's got blood. You'll faint. You're a lady. They don't do that.
Right. So as soon as they see, oh, women, no.
Yeah, not allowed. Sorry.
Right. 所以在这边呢，我们已经看到今天的文法喽。Let's take a look. 今天的 Language in Focus 我们要来看到的是从属连接词的句型。那各位国中的时候有学到 after, before, while, or when 这些从属连接词嘛，它们用来连接前后两个句子。比如说 Lily took a shower after she got back home。但你有没有发现这边的 Lily 和 after 后面的 she 指的都是同一个人，也就是说副词子句跟主要子句的主词一样的时候呢，就可以省略副词子句那一句话的主词。所以在这句话当中，我们就可以把连接词后面那个 she 删掉。但是删掉之后呢，这个句子的动词就需要改为现在分词，也就是 VING。所以我们看到 got 改成 VING 的形式，就变成了 getting。 整句话 Lily took a shower after getting back home。我们再来看今天文章句子省略前的句子。In 1847, Elizabeth Blackwell was finally accepted to Geneva Medical College after she was rejected by many schools。这边呢，我们找到了从属连接词在 after 后面的she呢，跟前面主词 Elizabeth 都是同一个人，所以就代表我可以把这个连接词后面那个she删掉哦，所以找到后方动词的 was 也改成 VING 就会变成 being， 所以前半句都不变，从属连接词后面改成 after being rejected by many schools。
All right, and as we go on, it seems that, wow, even that wasn't as easy or wasn't as true, as honest as it should have been. This is terrible. It says the male students, that's the male medical students at this school, the male students had voted to admit her as a joke. Not expecting the school to actually accept her. They thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny if a lady was a doctor like us? Let's vote for her. But she got in. I don't understand how cruel and mean that could be, but that's the kind of world she lived in. That's the kind of challenge and difficulty she faced in just trying to get an education. That's terrible.
Right. 好，所以我们看到了这边的动词 admit 就会是准许谁的加入或是接纳 ，and so the noun would be admission。那各位在上大学的时候呢，你们 what you feel the most excited about is to receive admission letter， right？ 当你收到录取通知书或是入学许可的时候。
But even though they were trying to make fun of her, the joke was on them, the male students. They had voted her in, so she was in. There's nothing they can do now. But even though she got to go to the school, it was still a big challenge. It says there at the school, she faced constant judgment. I mean, this is something that women talk about even today. They might be able to do the same job as the men, but they always have to work harder and do better and face constant criticism and things like that. They always feel they have to be more than their male colleagues or competitors. So constant judgment all the time. It was never ending. Anything she did, even if she did it better than a man, they would find some reason to find a problem with it. And she was always looked at and judged much more harshly and difficultly than a man was. For example, we could say the constant noise outside made it hard for Brady to concentrate on his work. Constant, of course, meaning all the time, never ending. It just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Right, 所以这边 constant 我们就看到形容词就是经常发生或是持续不断的。那这边我们看到今天的 quiz， 再看一次题目哦。Emma has been hearing a blank knocking sound from the pipes for an hour. A. Confident 有自信的 B. Original 原先的最初的 C. Constant 就是我们刚刚说的持续不断的 D. Challenging 有挑战性的所以他听到那个水管一直在那边叫就是持续不断觉得很烦那应该会是 constant 它符合句意嘛持续了1个小时
Now, yeah, you might also think, oh, well, these are her classmates. They're all young men, you know, young people. They tease each other. Okay, but it wasn't just that. Some teachers hesitated to teach her, and many saw her presence as improper.
Oh,
the fact
so
that she's,
mean.
you know, seeing blood or looking at people without their clothes on, as doctors have to do. They thought, this is not what a lady does, or a lady can't do that. A lady can't lift someone or, you know, cut into a body like doctors do. Oh, they'll faint. They're not strong enough. They're too weak. Blah, blah, blah. So they hesitated to teach her in the same way as the male students. They hesitated to give her a fair chance to prove herself. To hesitate is to pause to do something because you're a little worried. It might be a little scary. You might think this isn't the best idea. It might be something that's just not making you feel comfortable, so you might hesitate. You know, there's a swimming pool there and it's a cool morning, you might hesitate to jump right in case it's really, really cold. So you might dip in your toe. You're just a little bit worried. You're not quite sure this is the right thing to do. For example, we hesitated to move the man after he fell off his bicycle and landed on his head. Well, in that case, it's good to hesitate.
Right.
They might have hurt their neck or back, so you should probably wait till the ambulance gets there.
Right. 所以这个 hesitate 呢，还是一个动词，就是很不确定的时候，你们会犹豫啊，或是迟疑。那它后面呢，通常是加 to be， 你犹豫去做某件事情。So another example sentence, she hesitated to answer the phone because it was from an unknown number. I do that all the time. I'm like, should I pick this up? I don't want to hear from anyone. I don't know. Maybe that's scams.
Yeah, unless it says someone's name on it, you might be a little worried. Let's also talk about this word presence. All right, we had this word presence about how some of the teachers weren't happy about her presence at the medical school. Well, your presence is just being somewhere. If you are somewhere, then your presence is there, right? We don't use this word that often in normal conversation. You might use it for someone who you miss, who you wish was there. Oh, I miss the presence of my friend. They moved to another part of the world. Or, oh, I miss the presence of grandma at our family dinner. She died a few years ago. We miss her being there. Or we notice the presence of the man who got on the bus. He really needed a shower or something like that. So just the person of being there, being in that place at that time. For example, we welcomed the presence of our foreign friends at the Thanksgiving dinner. That made it more special that year.
好，所以我们刚刚看到了 present 这个字，present 它是一个名词，有存在或是在场、出席的意思。So for example, the teacher's presence in the classroom kept the students quiet. This happens all the time.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. When the teacher's presence is not there, everyone goes crazy. Back to the article. Even for Elizabeth, even everyday tasks became difficult. I don't know if she became a doctor of medicine. She should become a doctor of patience.
Right.
Just dealing with all of these boys and men and people causing her trouble all the time. So even simple things or everyday tasks became difficult. And we'll get an example in a second.
所以我们这边看到了 every day 它是一个形容词哦，要小心中间没有空格，它是同一个字。那各位比较熟悉的 every day 则是副词片语。
Yeah, so what kind of things were difficult? Well, simple things like even shopping. When she tried to buy medical supplies, the shopkeeper refused to serve her.
Wow, that's too much.
She's in there buying, like that stethoscope and, the things doctors use on their job. The students need this. And the shopkeeper was like, are you buying this for your father, for your brother? No, for me. No, I can't help you.
老板拒绝服务她 She was the customer.
Yeah, I know, and she's got money and everything. She just wants to buy the stuff. Sell her the thing. What's wrong with you guys? However, it says she worked hard. Probably went back to her room at night. Like, getting so angry about all these stupid people. However, it says she worked hard and became the first woman in the U.S. to earn a medical degree.
Wow, congrats.
Congratulations to her, finally. All right, back to the article. To continue her training, Elizabeth later studied at a maternity hospital in Paris. Okay, well, hopefully that she wasn't the only girl student there. I think French medical schools at that time were seen as some of the best in the world. So this is wonderful. She got to go to Paris to study. And a maternity hospital, yeah, well, that's the kind of medicine, that's the kind of doctor that many women would be, and many women would prefer these days, right? Because maternity is all about babies, and ladies have babies generally.
Right.
It's just the way it is.
Right, 所以这个 maternity 呢，就是孕妇的、产妇的。所以呢，我们刚刚看到 maternity hospital 就是妇产科嘛。那这边看到了 maternity leave 就会是产假的意思。
Although it says she had a degree, remember, she did graduate from medical school in America. And I guess this is over there in France. Although she had a degree, she was treated like a midwife instead of a doctor. So they're like, yeah, you can study here, but we'll kind of give you like more nurses training, baby mother nurse training. That's kind of what a midwife is. A lady generally, who will help another lady have a baby, but not a real doctor.
Right， 但是这个 midwife 跟那个老婆是不一样的哦。这个 midwife 呢，它是一个名词，是指产婆或是助产士。那刚刚又看到一个很重要的片语 instead of 就是而不是。
And she also had a bit of trouble there. It says by accident, she lost vision in her left eye while treating a baby with an eye infection. Oh boy. At that time, they didn't know the things that we know now about keeping clean. They didn't have the medicines we had. So yeah, being a doctor could be quite dangerous. You could catch diseases from your patient. And in her case, well, at least she didn't die, but she did lose the vision in her left eye. Vision is just the ability to see, okay? We have vision, we have touch, we have smell, we have taste. If you can see, your vision should be okay. If your vision isn't so good, get some glasses, that kind of thing. So to lose vision means suddenly you can't see, in her case, in one eye. Let's talk about Milton. Milton went to an eye doctor to get his vision checked. Good idea.
去看眼睛。Alright, so here we see by accident 就会是意外的、偶然的，因为 accident 我们都知道是意外嘛。好，那 for example, I sent a message to the wrong group chat by accident.
Oh,
awkward.
That could have been embarrassing.
Right. 好，那这边呢又看到 vision 就是我们刚刚说的视力啦。VI 它是一个字首，每当我们看到 VI 都会跟眼睛有关系 our eyes. So for example, view or visual art, 视觉艺术。好，那这句话后半段呢，就说到他是什么时候失去他左眼的视力的呢？就是 while treating a baby with an eye infection。这边就看到 infection 它就是一个名词，指感染或是传染病。
Now, at least she can still see out of one of her eyes, but this was a problem. It says the injury ended her dream of being a surgeon. Oh, yeah, because surgeons need to be able to use their hands carefully. With one eye often, it's hard to see how far away things are, so you can't just be stabbing into the person you're trying to help. So that must have been a very tough thing. Let's talk about this injury that she had. Okay, an injury is basically when you hurt some part of your body. For a thing, we might talk about damage, right? You might damage your phone by dropping it and it cracks. But when you hurt your body, we won't really say I damaged my body by, cutting myself when I was cooking. We have an injury. The verb would be to injure. You hurt or you injure yourself by having an accident. And that thing that's wrong, your broken arm, your cut finger, the bump on your head when you hit it on a door or something, that is an injury, all right? So it's not damage, it's an injury because it's on your body or something like that. For example, we were very happy to hear that Jane didn't suffer a bad injury after her skiing accident. She'll be okay.
好，那我们看到这个字 injury 它就是一个名词，伤害或是受伤。常见跟它搭配在一起的片语呢，就比如说 suffer from an injury or recover 复原 recover from an injury。好，那我们又来看到 surgeon 呢，它是一个名词，是外科医生。那另外一个名词 surgery 就会是指手术。
Yeah, so she lost her dream of becoming a surgeon, yet the article says it became a turning point. So that was the end of one dream and maybe the beginning of another. It also means she probably didn't quit her dream of being a doctor of some kind.
I wonder what happened next.
We'll find out right now. She changed her focus to public health, medical education, and social reform. So she couldn't be a doctor, but she could do other wonderful things, in some ways maybe to help even more people than just the people she did operations on. And she kind of reflected on the fact that it was so hard for her to become a doctor. Why don't I make it easier for many more women to become doctors? So public education, public health, medical education, and social reform change the whole idea of who or what a doctor is.
所以我们看到了 reform 这个名词就是有改革、革新的意思。re 就是 again 嘛，就是再一次。那 form 呢，就是格式啊，或是形式，所以改变了，或是再一次的去改变这样子的形式，就变改革。
And this is kind of a throwback, remember, to her father, who we learned yesterday was very progressive. Progressive people are interested in reform and changing things and making them better for more people in society. So that's what she did. Then it says she was determined to make a difference in public health back in New York. Try to make everyone in the whole state of New York healthier. She was determined to do this. If you're determined, this adjective means you are strongly decided to do something. You know it's going to be hard. You know it's not going to be easy, but you're not going to quit. You're very strong in your mind to say, I will get through this. I will succeed in the end, no matter what. For example, Nate was determined to finish his 10-kilometer hike, even though his feet were starting to hurt. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to go on, even if I have to crawl my way home.
Right. 好，所以这个 determined 呢，它是一个形容词，代表坚决的或是下定决心的。So for example, I always hear my students say this. I'm determined to improve my English this semester.
Good for you.
Okay, and next one, make a difference. 这个就是有所影响或是带来改变。So for example, many people don't like their jobs because they feel like they are not making a difference.
Aw, that's too bad.
OK， 所以喜欢今天的节目吗？快按赞，追踪我们的 YouTube 频道和 Facebook， 不要忘记开启小铃铛，掌握第一手的英文学习内容。
All right, we have a chat question here. Imagine you are Elizabeth or someone like her. How are you likely to react if you are treated unfairly like Elizabeth?
Oh, it's a tough one. I think if you asked me this question when I was younger, way younger, I probably would have just given up because it was really difficult back then. I mean, it was almost impossible.
You weren't as determined.
Right. And I wasn't as confident as I am now.
Good.
Also, so I probably wouldn't have had the courage to like fight for it.
Okay.
But now I think I'd handle it more like Elizabeth. Like, you know, like pushing through the unfairness, finding different ways to make things happen in order to make a difference in the world.
Excellent. And of course, you can probably find very quickly you're not alone, and there's a lot of people who will come together to help you too. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for more. Until then, bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Constant. Sarah couldn't sleep because of the constant barking from the neighbor's dog. Hesitate. Jenny hesitated before she got on the bus because she wasn't sure if it was the right one. Presence. Joseph feels nervous at social events, so he often brings his dog. The dog's presence helps him feel comfortable. Vision. Owen's vision was damaged in a car accident, and he hasn't been able to see clearly ever since. Injury. George was so lucky. He didn't get any injuries in the terrible car accident. Determined. Judy is determined to pass this exam, so she is studying very hard.
智慧小补帖。
Admit. Maternity. Midwife. Infection. Surgeon. Reform.
掌握最新时事主题，立即下载空中美语 App， 免费收听当期完整杂志。